Hello everyone and welcome back to the second installment of this new North Korean film review series. Today I am very excited for this one because this was actually the first North Korean film that I ever saw, and I actually saw it in the Yanggakdo cinema in North Korea for the first time. So that was a pretty cool experience visiting a North Korean cinema. You can actually hear more about that in the link that's popping up right now. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to talk about Comrade Kim Goes Flying. This is an awesome film that is just all about girl power, really motivating, feel good, you can do it movie. Once you watch it, you will wonder if, okay, is this really a DPRK produced film? You know, a lot of the films that we'll be reviewing on this channel might be quite old, especially the one that we did last time, which was The Flower Girl. This is a fairly new production, and it is also a co-production with Belgium and the UK as well. So a very interesting one, and I'm super looking forward to getting stuck into it right now. But first, I want to say thank you to my patrons, Clarke, James, Charles, Alex, Simon, Masaki, and James Hickman. Thank you so much for supporting me. If you want to consider becoming a patron, do have a look at the link below. There you can join my patrons page and also join in our monthly chats where we chat about anything and everything, and it is very good fun. So without further ado, let's have a look at Comrade Kim Goes Flying. It's clear from right at the start that Comrade Kim Goes Flying is on a different level to other DPRK films. As a co-production with two foreign countries, including UK and Belgium, we are definitely in for an interesting and indeed more approachable ride here. It starts in typical DPRK style of song combined with narrative and big open plains or wide scene, but already goes into setting the theme of the film as we see the young girl's desire for freedom and achievement. The film follows the story of this young protagonist from the countryside who has big plans for herself in life. It's a short film at just 1 hour 20 minutes. It's fast-paced, action-packed, and Korean with a foreign twist. I love the strong girl power vibes that come in right at the start of this film as we see our young protagonist bossing around her male peers. You see these red scarves of the young pioneer uniforms in North Korea, and also in China and other countries, on children frequently. After the roll of the credits, we're reintroduced to the grown-up protagonist, whose life we will follow throughout the rest of the film, and who seems to have grown into a successful miner.
자, 그런 인상 가지고 어떻게 찍겠어?
이야, 이렇게요?
찍습니다. 하나, 둘.
Despite her success as a miner, it's clear that down in the mines isn't her calling, and instead she finds herself obsessed with the circus and becoming a trapeze artist.
할머니 사람 나 얼마나 좋아하는지 알아요? 날만 칭찬한단 말이에요. 그래? 할머니 이거.
그만해라. 나중엔.
Her parents, worried she may run astray, are reluctant to send her to Pyongyang to work there in construction.
그래서 단부야 단을 꽝꽝 캐야죠.
잘 생각해보게.
In the end, Youngmi gets the freedom she so desires and off she goes to Pyongyang. Here, and in many scenes afterwards, we see Youngmi wearing the typical joguri Korean dress many North Korean women of her age wear. It's very typical for college and university students. She is also wearing the most standard and commonly seen sandal shoe in North Korea. You won't see them in Pyongyang so much, but rather in the countryside. I've got a pair at home actually. We're taken on a small tourist tour around Pyongyang as Youngmi experiences her first visit to the capital. The Reunification Arch, the Juche Tower, the bronze statue of Kim Il-sung. Her first stop, of course, is the circus. She has a couple of days in Pyongyang before her work begins, and she definitely has only one thing on her mind. She persuades a man to show her the way, who turns out to be her supervisor at the construction site, who we will see again later.
저 계획장 가는 길 몰라서 그럽니다.
이제 늦었어. 평양에 왔으면 아무 때나 교회 구경할 수 있겠는데 뭐. 응?
난 참지 못하겠어요. 결국 등록 가기 전에 개강호부터 시컨버리고 이틀이나 당겼습니다.
But when they arrive, it's too late and there are no tickets left. She will not let that get in her way though.
난 공중조 시은이 동생이에요.
수연이 동생이야?
예.
그래도 표현해야지. 사는 사고, 공은 공이니까.
오빠는 오빠한테 있어요. 오빠 빨리 가요.
아, 쟤네. 표를 내라고.
예?
두 사람.
표가 있으면 벌써 들어갈게요.
아니, 이제 들어간 쟤네가 오빠한테 있다고 해서 자네가.
오빠? 이거 내가 진짜 오빠가 되는가?
아프자. 내가 없는 지 25년에 처음으로 하나를 놓쳤고.
Youngmi is delighted to see her first performance in person from her idol Ri Soo-hyun. The circus in Pyongyang, by the way, is something you can visit as a tourist there too. We hear that Ri Soo-hyun plans to leave the circus, and she invites Youngmi to the auditions to be her potential replacement.
교회를 사랑한다고 했지? 혹시 그럼 교회 배우가 되고 싶은 생각은 없어?
And she gets her first time to shine. The trapeze is a little higher than she expected, and having never practiced it before, it turns out she has a fear of heights.
조금만 더. 조금만 더. 준비됐어요? 예. 한번 해보겠어요. 잠깐만.
요 너무 떨어지라 상하지 않을 테니까.
She fails to impress the judges with her lack of skills and becomes a laughingstock amongst the other members of the circus. So heads back to work on the construction site. Construction is not something usually permitted to be filmed in North Korea, and so it's interesting seeing so much of a North Korean construction site, despite it being entirely staged, of course. During May Day celebrations, a big holiday in North Korea, Youngmi bumps into the male trapeze artist who had made fun of her poor performance, and the audience starts to see where this connection might just be going.
하긴 벌덩이처럼 떨어지던 구탄강천일 수 없지.
At the construction site, she attempts to overcome her fear of heights.
이거 나만 보지 말고 밑을 보라니까 밑을. 아직은 안 되겠어. 기증기 쏘려.
계속 올라갑시다. 더 높이. 더 빨리. 난 견딜 수 있습니다.
좋았어. 기증기 올려.
Youngmi gets another chance to prove herself as she prepares for the next workers' festival she's been asked to perform in.
좀 쉬지 않고. 영민 확실히 계획이지.
이번에 열리는 노동자의 술축전에 출연시킵시다.
영민 말이야. 교회라는 게 좋지 않을까? 그게 좋을 것 같습니다.
아닙니다. 난 못합니다.
영미야 마음만 먹으면 무엇이든 다 하지. 이제야 높은 데 올라가는 것도 무서울 게 없겠다. 그건 멋있을 겁니다. 우리 공연에서.
Someone from the circus is ordered to help her prepare, and yep, you guessed it, it's the male trapeze artist Park Jang-pil.
지금 기다리고 있자니? 있자니?
아니, 저 사람이 바로 저 사람이에요. 그래, 내가 저런 사람한테서 교회를 배우란 말입니까?
In Youngmi's lead, the construction workers collectively decide that Park Jang-pil is too cocky and insulting, and they will instead teach themselves. Cue some important messages on revolutionary spirit and the collective.
을 기본으로 교회 종목을 들고 나간다. 특색 있게. 어떠죠, 더불어?
우리라고 교회를 못한다는 법이 있습니까? 우리 노동계급이 마음만 먹으면 뭐든지 다 해낼 수 있다는 걸 보여줍시다.
벌써 혁명적 군인 정신으로 하면 된다. 이게 우리 배짱이요. 그 중요한 건 대중예술인 것만큼 손수본이 몇 사람이 아니라 중대 전원이 참가해야 한다는 거요.
Throughout the film, we constantly see the theme of courage, motivation, and girl power, as Youngmi overcomes many hurdles by challenging those who don't believe in her and proving them wrong time after time. It's through this constant hustling from Youngmi that the construction workers are able to get equipment and training from Youngmi ready for their big performance to show up the ones who had previously looked down on them so much. And suddenly it's time for the big performance they've been building up to, and Youngmi finally has her chance to shine once more. And the acrobats who had previously looked down on them are proven wrong. The mother of Park Jang-pil, after seeing Youngmi perform, has been watching their relationship from afar and, although previously discouraging it, starts to give it a little helping hand. The acrobats swallow their pride and go to the construction site to find Youngmi to ask her to join the circus, but realize she's already been sent back to her hometown and the coal mines.
좋아. 진짜 그랬어야지. 근데 영미 동문 오늘 아침에 탄강으로 내려갔어.
Where Jang Pi of course follows her to. In a very cool way, she politely refuses the offer and turns him away.
건설장에서 공중을 날게 된 건 한 공중배우선에 장을 지지는 걸 보자는 것 때문이지 전문 배우가 되자는 건 아니었어요.
But Jang Pil does not give up and goes to her home to talk her family into it.
여기까지 왔어요?
동무하고 말이 통하지 않았어. 동무의 아버지를 만나야겠어.
아니, 안 돼요. 안 된다지 않아요.
누구요?
The circus staff from Pyongyang show up at the house too, and in the end, everyone is persuaded, including Youngmi herself, that she will leave and join the circus, and fly as her mother had promised her as a child at the start of the film. We're never really told what happened to Youngmi's mother, but it can be assumed that she must have passed away at some time during her childhood. Towards the end, training almost becomes too much for Youngmi as she attempts to train for the trials. and she tries to quit and head back to the coal mines.
안타까워요. 생각만큼 안 되니 나도 막 석이 탄단 말이에요.
But instead, after a pep talk, gets a second win and is ready to attempt to become the new Lee So-hyun as her trial day finally arrives.
안정을 차려보자요. 시스템을 가지고. 알았지?
영미, 내가 꼭 잡겠어.
The first time round does not go so well, and Youngmi has one more hurdle to overcome. And this time it's her dad and all of her coal miner supporters who give her the courage to, quite literally, pick herself back up and prove herself.
영미야, 일단 시작을 했으면 끝까지 내밀어야지. 이게 뭐야? 우리 노동계급은 물러서는 뭘 몰라. 저길 좀 봐라.
영미야, 넌 우리 단광의 딸이고 조선의 딸이다. 넌 지금 우리 조선의 명예를 걸머졌다는 걸 잊지 마라.
영미야.
다시 해라.
좋아, 날아보자.
And she flies successfully into the arms of Jang-pil. So that was Comrade Kim Goes Flying. Do you all feel suitably motivated with a you can do it too attitude? That's certainly how I felt after the first time I watched Comrade Kim Go Flying. And I just loved how motivating and kitsch it was. Anyway, excellent. And I would really suggest, if you've never watched any North Korean film, this is a very easily accessible film. You can access it online. The link is in the notes for this video. And it's very accessible if you've never watched any North Korean film before. It's very easy to get into. It's fun. It's good to watch. And it's a good introduction to the crazy world that is the North Korean film industry. So thank you very much. As always, if you have any feedback, if you have any comments, if you have any films that you want me to do next, please put them in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time for the next North Korean film review, which will be, drumroll, A Traffic Conductor on Crossroads. This is a 1986 production, but it is very cool and kind of modern, and everyone loves stuff about the North Korean traffic ladies. And that's all what this film is about. Pretty cool, so I will see you next time for that one. Thanks very much for tuning in again. Bye bye.